Greetings from Temecula, California. It is Thursday. That time of the week again. Midweek madness. But don't worry, we've got a lot to chew on today. The MLB Divisional Series is officially set. And let me tell you, the matchups are sizzling. We'll break it down. Who's got the edge? Who's riding momentum? And who's just hoping their bullpen doesn't blow it in the first 3 innings. Now, shifting to the hardwood, Caitlin Clark is making headlines. She's responding to Collier's remarks. Remember the story we brought to you yesterday? Well, she's got some responses, and it's something you would expect from a true competitor. Sharp, pointed, and not holding anything back. And speaking of battles, the WNBA Finals kicks off with Game 1 tomorrow. We'll give you a full preview, who's poised to dominate, who could surprise, and what you absolutely need to watch for if you love clutch plays and high drama. And, October 2nd, spooky season. I gotta tell you, today, Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice, the little Tim Burton, took me back, It's quirky, gothic, slightly terrifying fun that gets you in the Halloween spirit while reminding you that a little weirdness in life can be, beautiful. So, stick around. We've got MLB, WNBA, Thursday Night Football, and a tight one in SoFi, plus NBA preseason and our season preview of the Raptors and the reigning world champion Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the Ryder Report. So glad you're with us. I am Ryder Bullock, and let's get started with Major League Baseball. Cleveland taking on Detroit. Winner moves on, loser goes home. Tigers Guardians Game 3 from Progressive Field. And what a turnaround year for Cleveland. But could Detroit spoil the story? Top of the third, Tigers strike first. Parker Meadows on third. Javier Baez on first. Kerry Carpenter chops one down the line off the glove of C.J. Kafis. It kicks into foul territory. Meadows scores. Detroit grabs the 1-0 lead. Fourth inning, Guardians answer. George Valera rips a double. Jose Ramirez does what Jose Ramirez does. Knocks him home with a liner to right. That's hit number 40 in his postseason career. Fifth Guardian ever to reach that mark. We're tied at 1 apiece. Then in the sixth, 2 outs, 1-on-1 count. Rookie Dylan Dingler, his first postseason hit, and it's a big one. 401 feet to left center, gone. Tigers retake the lead 2-1. Seventh inning. Detroit blows it open in the seventh. Bases juiced. Wins. Perez laces a single into right. Baez scores. Meadows scores. And the Tigers are rolling along. Then Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, back-to-back RBI singles, 4-run frame. Detroit up 6-1 and in command. Eighth inning. Cleveland trying to rally. Jose Ramirez puts it in play. 2-run score on the air, but he's thrown out at second, and that's as close as they get. 6-3 the final. Kyle Finnegan gets the win. Dingler the hero, and Detroit moves on. Second straight year, the Tigers win a wild card series on the road. Next stop, Seattle. They'll face in the American League West Championship Mariners in the Division Series Game 1 on Saturday night. Wrigley Field, a classic October stage. Cubs looking to punch their ticket to the NLDS. Padres fighting to stay alive on the road. Let's roll to the tape. Bottom of the second, Cubbies get it going. Pete Crow Armstrong with the knock into center. Tucker trots home. Bases still busy. Cubs jump in front 1-0. Later in the inning, Dansby Swanson shows patience, draws the walk. Sae Suzuki crosses the plate. It's a 2-0 Chicago lead early. Seventh inning, Michael Bush gives Wrigley a jolt, a 400-foot blast to right center. Gone. Cubs add insurance, 3-0. Padres make some noise in the ninth. Rookie Jackson Merrill takes Andrew Kitterberg deep, 369 feet the other way, but too little too late. And 3-1 is the final. Wrigley is celebrating, roaring, as Daniel Plencia gets the win. Andrew Kittredge locks it down for the save, and the Cubs are headed to the NLDS. Let's head to Yankee Stadium. Classic rivalry, Red Sox-Yankees. But this one's all Bronx Bombers. Rookie Cam Schittler making his mark. And how about this? Strikes out the side in the fifth inning. 3 strikes to keep Boston scoreless. 10 then in the sixth, make it a double digits. 10 strikeouts, setting the tone. He wasn't done. 11 strikeouts, a Yankees record for a rookie debut. Fourth inning, Yankees get it going. Eddie Rosario singles left. Cody Bellinger scores, and New York is on the board. Next batter, Anthony Volpe singles to right. Stanton crosses the plate, and the Yankees double the lead. Then some trouble for Boston. Nathaniel Lowe can't handle it at first. 2 more runs come across. Yankees put up 4 in the fourth. And then check out Ryan McMahon flipping into the Red Sox dugout to make the catch, but even that hustle couldn't spark Boston's bats. Yankees win it 4-0. Cam Schittler earns his first career win with 11 strikes, while Boston's managers just 5 hits and no runs. So, like we said, the baseball divisional series now set, and here is how it is shaping up to be. And before we even tell you, it is a monumental matchup. Anybody could win the World Series. It's that good. Cubs-Brewers game 1 on Saturday. And then the Yankees and the Blue Jays game 1 on Saturday. Dodgers-Phillies in the NLDS game 1. And then the Tigers and the Mariners in the other ALDS series. Tigers-Mariners game 1 all Saturday. Sunday, Yankees-Blue Jays game 2. Tigers-Mariners game 2. Monday, Cubs-Brewers game 2. Dodgers-Phillies game 2. So, Ryder Report has you all ready for Major League Baseball. We'll have analysis from those early Saturday, Sunday games on Monday. And, of course, full Monday recap on Monday's episode of the Ryder Report. Your home for sports news. Tell your friends that this is your home for sports news. From baseball to a big story in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, speaking out. And let me tell you, when Caitlin Clark talks, people listen. She's not someone who's out here stirring the pot. She's thoughtful, calculated. And what she said today about the leadership in the WNBA, that is the most important moment in the league's history. She's absolutely right, because let's be honest, the WNBA has momentum like never before, record ratings, packed arenas, merchandise flying off the shelves, and yet you've got your star players, Nafisha Collier, Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, all saying the same thing. We don't trust the leadership. It's a major red flag. Angel Reese is tweeting about it. The same thing. She's saying, Nafisha Collier has a point. And it's a major red flag. Let's go back to Collier's comments. We mentioned it on on this show earlier this week, she said that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert told her Caitlin Clark should be grateful for her $16 million off the court because without the WNBA platform, she'd have nothing. If that's true, and again, we don't have the commissioner's side yet, but if that's true, it's tone deaf, it's dismissive, and it shows a complete misunderstanding of what's driving your league's growth. Caitlin Clark is not just a product of the WNBA. She is the reason people are watching the Women's National Basketball Association. She brought Iowa ratings that rivaled men's Final Four games. She's transcended the sport. You want to talk about this? This is so funny. I live in California, and I remember this. I'm in California. I'm at a casino. It's a Friday night. There are four college football games going on. Okay, Stanford was playing. I forget who, but Stanford was playing. USC, I think, was playing. Big names, right? Indiana, I think, was playing, and other names as well. Couple of NBA games going on as well. The Lakers, and all of those games were muted. The only game that had sound on was an Iowa regular season women's basketball game because Caitlin Clark was on the floor. It was the game that had everybody at the bar's interest. I'm in Los Angeles. The Lakers are playing. The Trojans are playing. Stanford's playing. I was with a Stanford grad who could care less about the Stanford game. He was interested in what Caitlin Clark was doing in Iowa. And you're going to tell me she should be grateful? You should be grateful, Kathy Engelbert. You should be grateful that she chose to play in your league when she could have went anywhere. Caitlin Clark is not just a product of the WNBA. She is the reason people are watching the WNBA. She brought Iowa's ratings that rivaled men's Final Four games. She's transcended. You can't lead a league like that, Kathy, with this corporate buzzwords and business talk while your players feel unheard, unpaid, and underappreciated. That's not leadership. That's bureaucracy, ma'am. I'm sorry, Commissioner. You are a bureaucrat. And Sophie Cunningham, wow, she didn't hold back either. Called the leadership shameful. Said they're being failed as players. You can hear the frustration boiling over. You got the players hinting at a lockout when the CBA expires in October. By the way, it's October, into the month. We could have a lockout. It's catastrophic if it happens. You finally have national attention, finally have momentum, and you're going to stop the train. That's bad business. Let's make one thing clear. Players aren't asking for the moon. They're asking for a seat at the table. They're asking for respect, transparency, and say in how the league is run. And when Caitlin Clark says leadership starts with relationships, she's right. It's about trust. It's about communication. If the players don't trust the commissioner, the league's foundation cracks. The WNBA cannot afford to lose this moment. You have generational talent. Clark, Reese, Boston, Collier, Asia Wilson, others. Rivalries in Fever Chicago and New York and Minnesota and others. Storylines. National headlines. What you need now is leadership that builds on that, not undermines it. So here's the question. Can Kathy Engelbert survive this wave of criticism? And if she does, can she rebuild trust before this becomes a full-blown labor crisis? I don't know. And like I said, I haven't spoken to the commissioner. I doubt she'll take my call. I will try and call her tomorrow. because this is too much. But I'll say this. If there's even a hint of a lockout this winter, the WNBA loses all the goodwill it's built in the past 2 years. You can't preach growth and then slam the brakes. Get in a room, get it done, show leadership. That's a job. You want to know what lockouts do? They destroy leagues. It took Major League Baseball 3 to 4 years to get back to where it was after the 94-95 lockout. Major League Baseball took them years to bounce back. You can't preach growth and then slam the brakes. Get it in a room. Get it done. Show leadership. That's your job, Commissioner. That is your job. You got the face of the league, Caitlin Clark, standing up and basically saying, quote, we need leadership, real leadership now. She's not yelling. She's not finger pointing, but she's being honest. And when Caitlin Clark and Nafisha Collier, two of your brightest stars, both respected voices, are calling out the commissioner, that's not noise, folks. It's a warning signal. Look, Collier said it plain. Worst leadership. Sophie Cunningham doubled down. We're being failed. She even said NBA players are reaching out saying, we can't believe how bad this is. That's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's not growth. It's not growing pains. That's dysfunction. And then Caitlin, she's smart. She talks about relationships. That's her word. She's telling you what's missing. You can't run a league just from the boardroom. You need to be in the locker rooms. Talk to your players. Understand what they're dealing with. This isn't corporate America. It's professional sports with real human beings carrying your brand. And here's the part people need to understand. These women aren't just employees. They're the product. You don't have a league without them. You've got Caitlin Clark, who's been injured most of the year, still top jersey sales, still driving TV ratings, still every time you turn on a WNBA game, a national game, you're going to see the Fever play whoever, Seattle, Vegas, and they're still talented, still made it to the playoffs, took Las Vegas to overtime last night and lost. So the Fever have talent, but you're missing the point there. Angel Reese filling arenas on McDonald's commercials with the Angel Reese meal. I don't care if it is a quarter pounder with some different sauce. It's still, I ordered it. I went and got the Angel Reese meal. Aaliyah Boston, a franchise cornerstone. The talent is there. The passion is there. But if your leadership can't match the moment, it falls apart. And this CBA, folks, don't overlook it. It expires at the end of the month. 29 days from now. It's gone. It expires. Players are already talking about a potential lockout. Sophie Cunningham said flat out, we are not playing until we get what we deserve. You hear that? That's conviction. And it's dangerous because you finally got America watching. USA Network just signed on as another TV partner to add to ABC, ESPN, CBS. And I think NBC's getting some games with their new NBA package and USA Network now. And so more games on Peacock and ESPN Plus and Paramount Plus and all that's going to go away with this lockout. And it's the last thing you can afford. And if I'm Kathy Engelbert, I'm calling a meeting tomorrow morning. I'm getting Collier, Clark, Cunningham, the WNBA Players Association in the same room. Okay, don't forget Collier's the vice president of the Players Union. And I'm going to bring them all into a room, and I'm going to say, all right, what do we need to do? What do we need to fix? Where do we go from here? What is wrong? Because the time for press releases and PR spins is over. You've lost the room. You've got to rebuild it. And let me tell you, the whole "she should be grateful" line, if she really said that about Caitlin Clark, big mistake. Huge mistake. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe the league gratitude. The league owes her. She brought more eyeballs, more revenue, more exposure than anyone in the last decade. Don't diminish that. Embrace it. Right now, the WNBA is at a crossroads. You've got momentum, yes, but you've also got frustration. You've got players questioning your competence. You've got fans wondering if the league's ready to handle stardom. So what's next? That's the question. Either the commissioner steps up, listens, changes course, or this thing goes off the rails by December. I've seen lockouts before, and they've been last couple we've had the NBA lockout. That wasn't too detrimental. They got it done. We did though start the season Christmas Day, and that impacted a lot of things. But you don't get too many golden moments when the stars align, when the country's paying attention to you. Either seize it or you blow it. And the WNBA's window is open, but it's not going to stay open forever. They better figure it out now. And so while the WNBA's got a lot going on off the court, the leadership crisis, the looming CBA deadline, players talking lockout, let's not forget there's still basketball to be played. And we're about to get one heck of a finals for the first time ever. The WNBA finals will be a best-of-7 series. The longest regular season in league history now leads into potentially the longest finals ever. And we've got the matchups everyone wanted. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. Game 1 is Friday night, 8:30 Eastern, out in Vegas. The Aces are the 2 seed. The defending powerhouse. They've got experience, continuity, and star power. The Mercury, the 4 seed. They're the Cinderella story. A complete roster overhaul. No carryover players from their last finals appearance 5 years ago. And yet, here they are. So let's start with the Las Vegas Aces. They've been the class of the league for years now. Asia Wilson, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray. 3 elite players who know how to win. Wilson's averaging 26-9 in the postseason. Just absurd numbers. Young's been brilliant, over 20 a night, and Gray is that steady hand, the floor general. But here's the question with Vegas. Are they too reliant on their stars? Over 50% of their playoff scoring has come from Wilson and Young. That's a lot of pressure. Becky Hammon knows it. She said it after Game 5. They've got to defend better, rebound better, and get more from their bench if they want another ring. Now on the other side, Phoenix. This team has been through the gauntlet. They took out the defending champion New York Liberty. They knocked off the top-seeded Minnesota Lynx. That's no fluke. That's grit. That's leadership. And it's coming from their new trio, Alyssa Thomas, Satu Salabe, and Kalia Cooper. Thomas is a stat stuffer, 18, 9, and 9 in the playoffs. Salablay is a matchup nightmare, 6'4", can score inside, can hit the threes, get to the line. She's my X factor if she goes off. Phoenix can absolutely win this series, and don't underestimate what this means for the Mercury franchise. First final since 2014. And they've rebuilt this thing from scratch. No Terarce, no Griner, none of the old guard. New Boulder, new identity, a real shot at the title. The sports books have Vegas slightly favored, Aces minus 135, Mercury plus 115. But I'm telling you right now, Phoenix is coming in hot. They've been tested more. They've faced better teams, and they believe if Vegas wins, it's because Asia Wilson dominates, plain and simple. She's the best player in the world right now. And if she keeps playing like it, they're nearly unbeatable. If Phoenix wins, it's because their defense continues to suffocate. They've been holding teams under 30% from the three in the playoffs. That'll be the key against Vegas firepower. And remember, this is history. First ever, best of 7. You're going to get these stars on the biggest stage. And for all the off-court noise, this is the WNBA's moment to shine on the court. Wilson, Young, Gray versus Thomas, Salablay, Cooper. This is elite basketball. And if I had to pick this finals, I didn't want to do it, but I think I have to. I'm a big Fever person. I'm from Indiana. Indianapolis is my home, but I'm going to go with Vegas. And not just because they beat the Fever in overtime last night, but because experience wins out. Wilson cements her legacy. But don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if Phoenix makes this a war. And let me say this, with all the chaos behind the scenes, this series might just remind everyone why the league matters in the first place. So Vegas in 7, it's going to be good. Very good. From women's basketball to men's basketball, NBA preseason kicking off in Abu Dhabi. Sixers taking on the Knicks. Knicks win at 99-84. The Knicks took control early and never looked back, using a dominant middle stretch to pull away from the Sixers. First quarter, both teams traded buckets, tied at 25 after 1. Second quarter, the Knicks started heating up. Miles McBride led the way with 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting, helping New York build a 53-43 halftime lead. Third quarter, the Knicks poured it on with 28 more points, stretching the lead to double digits behind strong play from Karl-Anthony Towns, who threw down a powerful slam. Fourth quarter, the Sixers tried to rally. VJ Edgecombe led Philly with 14 points, including 5 for 5 from the line, but it wasn't enough. Defensively, Adam Bona made his presence felt with a massive swat at the rim. Johnny Brune added energy off the bench with an authoritative slam. Garrison Matthews chipped in from deep, knocking down a corner 3 to keep New York's momentum rolling. Final Knicks 99, Sixers 84. VJ Edgecombe for Philly had 14 points, 4 of 13 on the day. Miles McBride for New York, 12 points, 5 of 7. Knicks win the middle corners 56-32 to secure the victory. It's time for our 30 teams in 30 days series, counting you down to the start of the 25-26 NBA season. Tonight we focus north of the border, the Toronto Raptors, a team that could bring a brand new energy this season thanks to the arrival of Brandon Ingram. Toronto finished last year 30-52, missing the playoffs, but showed major growth down the stretch, going 22-21 after the new year and building one of the league's most improved defenses. Now with Scotty Barnes entering his 5th season and Ingram finally healthy, the question is simple. Can this duo push the Raptors back into the playoff picture? And in a strong draft, including number 9 pick Colin Murray Boyles, plus the return of a deep rotation, and the Raptors believe they have the mix to compete in the East again. The X factor is Scotty Barnes. When he's on the floor, Toronto's a different team. And if he and Ingram find the right chemistry, this could be one of the East's surprise playoff contenders. Mark your calendars for October 22nd. That's the season opener at Atlanta. October 24th, home opener against the Bucks. Emeritus NBA Cup begins October 31st. And keep an eye on Toronto early. They open October 22nd in Atlanta and return home 2 nights later to face the Bucks. And let me find out. I wrote that down. Sorry here. Toronto Well, we mentioned October 31st, but we didn't tell you who they were playing on October 31st. So let me grab it here. So sorry. Cleveland. They were at Cleveland on Halloween. So mark your calendars for that game. And now to a team that doesn't need to worry about the playoffs. It is the defending, reigning NBA World Champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I don't have any doubt will have any issues this year as we get to their preview here. We know last year they won it all, and 68-14 was their last year's record. It was a historic season in Oklahoma City, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander earning the Kia MVP honors while leading the Thunder to its second consecutive top seed in the Western Conference and wrapping up the season with the franchise's first NBA title in Oklahoma City. The Thunder set a plethora of records on their way to a title and now begin the tough task of becoming the NBA's first repeat champions since the Golden State Warriors in the 2017-18 season. Re-signings, they're all coming back. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, AJ Mitchell, Jalen Williams, both getting extensions, billions of dollars combined. We talked about it in the offseason. So, you've heard the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of the approach here, right? They returned 95% of their minutes from last season's championship team, including all of the top 13 players in minutes per game. The X Factor. A lot of people thought Shai was going to be my X Factor, but I think it's Jalen Williams. He is emerging as a budding superstar, entering his fourth season, the number 12 pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, earned his first All-Star appearance last season, and added to his accolades with all NBA third team, all defensive second team nods. He increased his scoring 21.6 and assists, 5.1 averages for the third consecutive season, and provided he could be a go-to scorer when Gilgeous-Alexander rested or was struggling. His 40-point eruption in Game 5 of the NBA Finals was his arrival as a household name. And remember, he's just 24 years old, so he has room to grow and get better. So the key question is, can the Thunder repeat its suffocating defense? It's going to be tough. Remember two things about Oklahoma City: their suffocating defense and those long, magical runs that they used to do. I mean, they used to go on 22-0 runs and stuff like that, unheard of, right? And will they repeat their suffocating defense? Maybe. Gilgeous-Alexander's contributions on the offensive end are a given at this point, following 3 consecutive All-NBA seasons, and Williams and Holmgren continue to grow in their own roles offensively. Big contributors to the Thunder's championship run was the ability to turn defense into offense, finishing with an NBA record plus 5.66 turnover differential of the season. So, when OKC lost last season, it was because it wasn't forcing turnovers that fuel its game-changing scoring runs. But when they do, opponents must take care of the ball if they want to unseat the reigning champions. Okay, Caruso, one of the fiercest defenders I've ever seen. And I mean, he looks like Elmer Fudd on the court, but my goodness. They have a title. They're tough. Defensive intensity each night. Can you keep that up? That is going to be the question. Key dates: October 5th, the preseason opener against the Hornets. Regular season home opener, opening night against the Rockets. Emeritus NBA West Cup Group A play against the Kings on November 7th, the 21st at the Jazz, the 26th against the Timberwolves at home, November 28th at the Suns. They'll play Christmas Day at home against the Spurs, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 19th at the Cavaliers, Rivalry Week, January 21st at the Bucks, and then January 23rd at home against the Pacers. Here is what's trending in the world of sports. Thursday night football going on right now. It might have just wrapped up, as a matter of fact. Get you out there to Los Angeles in just a moment. And the game just ended in overtime. San Francisco wins it 26-23. It was 17-7 49ers at the half. Get you some highlights here. Jake Tong, 6-yard pass from Mac Jones. That made it 7-0. Then touchdown Christian McCaffrey on a 1-yard pass from Mac Jones. 14-0 San Francisco. Touchdown here for the Rams. Kyron Williams, 14-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. And like I said, it was 17-7 going into the half. Third quarter. Puka Nacua, 1-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. It's 20-14 now. San Francisco still in the lead thanks to Eddie Pinero's 20-yard field goal earlier in the quarter. Fourth quarter, this is what tied the game. Kyron Williams, 8-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. 20-all thanks to a PAT block by Joshua Carty. Then Eddie Pinero made a 59-yard field goal with 5:12 left to play. 40 seconds left in the quarter, though. Joshua Carty made a 48-yard field goal, 23-23. And then Eddie Pinero, game winner, 41-yard field goal, 26-23. San Francisco wins it. They are 4-1. The Rams now are 3-2. And we talked yesterday about the 49ers and how they were just trying to make it to the next week with all the injuries and Brock Purdy's out and Mac Jones coming in, but they did a phenomenal job. And I'm sad to say I picked the Rams in that game, but San Francisco getting it done nonetheless. College football going on. Sam Houston State taking on New Mexico State. New Mexico leading it 27-10, 8:14 left to play in the fourth. I'll get you some highlights here. How about Fife? Going to run it in for a 1-yard touchdown here. New Mexico State up 10-0. Third quarter, it was 10-3 at the half. Watson passes to McCaskill for a 15-yard touchdown. Sam Houston State gets it in within 3. But here comes New Mexico. Callaway running it in for a 3-yard touchdown. New Mexico State up 20-10. And then 5 passes to Johnson III for a 4-yard touchdown. 27-10 with 8:14 left to play in regulation. The Nevada Supreme Court today unanimously rejected the NFL's request for a rehiring in the case involving former Raiders head coach John Gruden, leaving intact an August ruling that said Gruden cannot be forced into a league-run arbitration in his lawsuit against the NFL. Gruden's lawsuit claims the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell leaked private emails containing offensive language to pressure the Raiders into firing him in 2021. The court previously ruled 5-2 that requiring arbitration overseen by Goodell was unconceivable. Since Gruden was a former employee and no longer bound by the NFL Constitution, with today's decision, all 7 justices signed off on rejecting the NFL's rehiring petition. The league's final option is to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, which sources told us is likely. Gruden, who resigned in October of 2021, is seeking monetary damages, arguing the selective leak of his emails destroyed his career and endorsements. His attorney said they were pleased with the decision. Gruden previously told ESPN he wants the truth to come out and hopes to ensure, quote, what happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else. Don Rea Jr., president of the PGA of America, apologized today to the organization's 30,000-plus golfer professionals for comments he made during the Ryder Cup, where he had compared the abusive behavior of some fans to what might be heard at a youth soccer game. The 2025 Ryder Cup, held at Bethpage Black, saw Europe defeat the U.S. 15-13, but the event was overshadowed by profane behavior from sections of the crowd, including personal attacks on players like Rory McIlroy and even his wife. In his apology email, Rea acknowledged the fan behavior was disrespectful, inappropriate, and not representative of PGA professionals. He expressed regret that his comments during media interviews reflected poorly on himself and the PGA, noting it was not his intention to offend. PGA CEO Derek Sparage also apologized directly to the McIlroys and the European team for unruly conduct. Rea had previously defended the behavior in a BBC interview, suggesting it was similar to what can happen at youth sporting events and that it distracted U.S. players. His comments drew criticism from players like Matt Fitzpatrick and Shane Lowry. Rea also faced criticism for a trophy presentation in which he incorrectly said Europe retained rather than won the cup. The incident recalls past PGA controversies over fan behavior at Bethpage Black, including the 2014 social media controversy involving former PGA president Ted Bishop. David Ross, former Atlanta catcher and Chicago Cubs manager, said today he's ready to manage again and described the possibility of returning to the Braves dugout as, quote, amazing. Ross, 48, played for Atlanta from 2009 to 2012 and managed the Cubs from 2020 to 2023, posting a .262 and .284 record and winning the National League Central in 2020. Ross did not confirm interest in the Braves job, noting he wants to see if he will officially considered to replace Brian Snitker, who announced he will not return after 10 seasons. Snitker led Atlanta to 8 and 11 wins, 6 NL East titles, a wild card berth, and the 2021 World Series championship, and will remain with the organization in an advisory role and be inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame next year. Other potential candidates for the Braves job include former Braves infielder Mark DeRosa, Cubs bench coach Ryan Flaherty, and former Marlins manager Skip Schumacher, with coaches Walt West and Freddy Gonzalez also bringing prior manager experience. That is what's trending in sports. Here is tonight's final thought. Caster Semaya's decision to step away from her 7-year legal odyssey over sex eligibility rules in track and field is both a victory and a quiet tragedy. Victory because she has forced the world to confront a question that sports has long tried to ignore. How do you define fairness when biology itself refuses to conform neatly to binary boxes? Tragedy because her running career, the very thing that made her a global icon, is effectively over. Semenya's dominance in the 800 meters was undeniable. Undefeated in more than 30 races, a 2-time Olympic champion, she became a symbol of excellence that transcended sport. And yet the governing bodies of track and field, faced with her extraordinary performance and her naturally high testosterone levels, decided that her biology was unfair. They didn't ban her for cheating, didn't strip her medals. They simply wrote rules she couldn't follow without medical intervention. Rules that asked her to alter the body she was born with, the body that had carried her to the top of the world. Over 7 years, Semenya battled in courts from Switzerland to the European Court of Human Rights, arguing that her rights had been infringed, that she deserved the same chance to compete as many other women. She won a moral victory in Strasbourg this summer when the European Court recognized that her prior hearings had been flawed. Yet she chose not to pursue the Swiss court appeal. Perhaps she sensed, as many of us do, that the battle for justice in athletics is never a straight path. Perhaps she's simply ready to turn the page. Her case has ignited furious debate, not about transgender athletes, as many mischaracterize, but about women like Semenya, born female, but with biological variations that make them exceptional. These differences in sex development are rare, but they challenge sports' obsession with tidy categories, with fairness defined not by opportunity, but by chemistry. The new rules now mandate genetic tests for women competing at the highest levels. Fail the test, and you're barred. It's a chilling, blunt approach, one that raises questions about science, ethics, and the soul of competition. Semenya may not be stepping off the track, but her story is far from over. Her victory in the European court may pave the way for another athlete, another challenge, another reckoning in sport. And beyond the legal battles, beyond the medals and records, her legacy is clear. She has forced us to confront what fairness really means. And she reminded the world that extraordinary talent should not be punished simply for being extraordinary. In the end, Caster Semenya didn't just run races, she ran right into the heart of a debate that will define the future of women's athletics. And for that, she deserves more than administration, more than admiration. She deserves our understanding, our reflection, and our respect. That'll do it for me on this Thursday night. Till next time, Ryder Bullock reporting. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me share mine.